Welcome, it's Deronda. Today I'm showing you how to make these apple streusel muffins. They melt in your mouth and so delicious and loaded with flavor. The ingredients for the batter part is going to be 2 cups of all-purpose flour, or you can substitute with bread flour, 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1/2 cup of melted butter, it can be salted or unsalted, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 2 large eggs at room temperature, along with a large Granny Smith apple, or any tart apple will do. It needs to be peeled, cored, and chopped into 1½ cups. I like to peel my apple right before adding it into the batter, and I'll show you how to do that here in a little bit. For the streusel topping, you're going to need 1/3 cup of lightly packed brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour. If you want to use bread flour, you may. 1 tablespoon of butter that we need to keep chilled before using, and 1/8 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Now for the glaze, I'm using 1/2 cup of powdered sugar and 1 to 2 teaspoons of coconut milk. Let's put this in the refrigerator and keep it chilled till ready to use. Let's get started with this muffin batter. I'm adding my dry ingredients for the muffin batter into a large bowl with the sugar, the baking powder, the salt, and the baking soda. With the whisk, we're going to whisk these 5 ingredients until they're well blended. And like always, I've got all my ingredients listed below in the description box, and these are the first 5 ingredients that we've combined well. We can sit this off to the side. In a medium-sized bowl, I'm adding both of my room temperature eggs along with the vanilla and all the butter. With the whisk, break up those egg yolks, or if you don't have a whisk, you can use a fork. It'll work just the same. Whisk these 3 ingredients until they're well blended. Oh, that vanilla makes it smell so yummy. We're going to add this into our dry ingredients. With the spoon, bring your dry ingredients into your wet ingredients until both are well blended and you can no longer see the flour. You see how that flour is kind of disappearing? It's absorbing into that liquid part of our ingredients. This off to the side while I peel the Granny Smith apple using a paring knife. I like to try to get that peel off in one big long strand. Keep going around. Kind of a challenge, kind of therapy. Let's see if I can do it. All right, hang in there. It's getting there. It's getting there. Almost at the end. Whoop, almost lost it. Did we got it? We've got it. Peel the green off, not necessary, but I like to do that. With a chef's knife, cut my apple in half, cut it down into quarters. And back with that paring knife, just remove the end there, remove this end, and it should pop. The core should just really pop right out. So then you have this 1/4 of a peeled and cored apple, and you're going to do it to your other 3 quarters. I'm just gonna chop my apples down into pieces. They don't have to be uniformed in size. Just be careful when working with the knife, and work with the flat side of your apple down to be safer. But then you can go through them and chop them down just a little bit more. Or if you want your apples a little larger in pieces, you can do that too. And we're going to add it right here into the batter. Now that you got all your chopped apples into your batter, now remember your batter is going to be stiff. This is going to ensure a really nice, moist muffin. You're just going to work your apples into your batter. If you want to use your hands, get in there and do that too. Once the apples start releasing the juices in the batter will be a little bit more pliable here. These smell so good. And you're wondering, why do I wait until the end to peel and core my apples? I don't like my apples oxidizing. And if you sit them out at room temperature, once they're chopped, they're going to start turning brown on you. So I really try to avoid that and have the freshest apples here in our muffins. It's time to add this to its muffin pan. Fill a greased or paper-lined muffin cups 3/4 of the way full with our apple batter. And I'm using these little paper liners. If you want, you can use that wrapper from your butter and go in here and just butter your muffin cups if you don't want to use your paper liners. I'm going to leave that up to you. Back with that apple batter. I'm using an ice cream scooper. This holds about 3 tablespoons and a half of batter. And I'm just going to pop it right into each of my paper-lined muffin pans. If you don't have an ice cream scooper, get a large mound, scoop it right down in here like this. It'll do the same thing. You're looking about 3/4 of the way full. The ice cream scooper, invest in one. It's faster and gets the job done easier. Before I add the streusel topping, I like going in here just mashing down the batter. To make the streusel topping, we're going to set these off to the side. In a small bowl, add that chilled butter. You want to make sure your butter is nice and chilled. Kind of break it apart a little bit. I've realized using a fork works best. Add your brown sugar along with flour and your cinnamon. Mash this down until we get these 3 dry ingredients well blended with our butter. You want to work it for about a minute or so. If you have a food processor, you may use that as well. It'll make it go a little bit faster. Using a teaspoon or just a regular spoon, I just come back and add it here to the top of our muffin. It doesn't matter if you get it on there perfectly because it'll bake right into your muffin. See, I've got a little extra left over after getting the streusel on each muffin top. And I'm just going to go back and add a little bit more to each one. And then I'm going to just go ahead and smash down that streusel into our muffin. At this point, you want your oven preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Tap your pan to make sure the streusel's packed well into its muffin batter. These are off to the preheated oven on the middle rack for the next 15 or 20 minutes or until a toothpick inserted comes out clean. Use your timer and no peeking. Time's up. Let's check on those muffins. Pull them out. I'm going to use a toothpick to test them. I'm going to stick it right here in the center. Pull it out, no better on that toothpick so they've completely baked. Cool down here for 5 minutes before I remove them from their muffin tray. After 5-10 minutes, you can take the muffins out of their hot muffin pan here and let them cool down for an additional 20 minutes. Right before you add the glaze to the top, we're going to whip our coconut milk in. That looks really, really lovely. Clump our muffins all together. I've got to give one of these a try. See how that paper just peels right off from your muffin? It's perfect if you're taking it to a potluck or a gathering of any sort. And looky there on the inside. Whew! And let's see what it's like. Look at those apples in there. Got to give it a try. That streusel top with the glaze. Wow, and those apples are perfectly baked. The cinnamon and the crunch on that streusel and the moistness of the muffin is fantastic. I'm Deronda with Foods 101. Leave me a comment, give me thumbs up, hit that notification bell to be the first to get my new YouTube food videos. Thanks a million for watching, and I'll catch you lovely people later.